Okay, let's start. So yesterday we have seen that rings, how which properties they satisfy, and this is nothing but ring. The definition of ring. So it is having two operations, multiplication and addition. And for addition operation, we have to satisfy all properties of abelian group. And for multiplication, we are looking for only the associative property. And after that, we are looking for distributive property for multiplication and addition. So these six properties ring holds, and if it is satisfied by a particular algebraic system, then we say it is ring. Okay. So if you look at the arithmetic operations over set of integers, that is addition, multiplication, division, and subtraction. So in that case, the division is not satisfied because 1 by 2 is nothing but 0.5, and which is not part of a set of integers. So except division, the set of integers is satisfying all those operations. So I would say that arithmetic operation on set of integers, multiplication operation on a set of integers, they are grouped. Also, the subtraction operation on set of integers is also a group. But it won't be, for subtraction, it won't be obviously a abelian group because it won't satisfy the commutative property. But for ring, uh, on the set of integers, this addition and multiplication satisfies all these properties. Do you agree with me? For set of integers, all these properties are satisfied, and hence we can say that z comma plus into cross is nothing but multiplication is a ring. Okay, so addition and multiplication operation holds that property for set of integers. What about set of real numbers? Will that be possible? Set of real numbers with addition and multiplication. Can we call it rings? Set of real numbers. Is it possible, girls? Yes. Is there anyone? Are you getting this or not? Okay. For set of real numbers also, it is possible because set of real numbers will give you, you know, addition and multiplication on the set of real numbers will satisfy all these properties. Am I right or not? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm? After that, complex numbers. Will it be possible for complex numbers? Set of complex numbers over addition and multiplication.
Yes.
Yes, it is possible. Okay, so these are few examples of rings. So write down examples. I'll just dictate. In round brackets, capital Z, comma plus, comma multiplication is a ring where Z is the set of integers. Then second example, capital R, comma plus, comma multiplication, bracket complete, is a ring where R is set of real numbers. and complex numbers, set of complex numbers. So you can write capital C in round bracket, capital C, comma plus, comma multiplication, bracket complete, is a ring where capital C is set of complex numbers.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the next type of ring is, so in the basic definition, we have seen that only the associative property for multiplication is considered, and not the commutative property, nor the identity element, nor the inverses. Okay, but what if such properties do exist? Because in the set of integers, we have 1, okay, then we might not have multiplicative inverses over there, but in case of real numbers, we will be having the set of, we will be having multiplicative inverses. So in such cases, those rings are, named with different concept. And if, look at this, if the commutative law is satisfied by multiplication, then that ring is called as commutative ring. Okay, where every AB should belong to capital R. Capital R is nothing but ring. Then, if the identity element for multiplication is there in the given set, then we call it identity ring or ring with an identity element. Can you see this? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So these two types of different rings are there. The simple definition is there. So for a given ring, if you prove that this commutative law is satisfied, then that will be commutative ring. And if you find there is 1 in the given set, then you'll call it ring with an identity element. Okay. Now there is a small concept, unit. So unit is nothing but multiplicative, a particular element having multiplicative inverse. So for a given set, if you find that some elements have multiplicative inverses, then that element is called as unit. Okay, can you see this? Unit. So it is nothing but an element having multiplicative inverse. Now there is another term, zero divisors. Suppose, okay, I'll just read out this thing for you. R is called a ring with zero divisors if there exist non-zero elements A, B belongs to R such that AB is equal to 0. In such cases, A and B are called zero divisors. Now here they are looking for A and B, non-zero A and B, but their multiplication should be 0. Okay, is that possible in arithmetic operation, that AB is equal to 0 and A and B are non-zero numbers? Is that possible?
No.
No, ma'am.
No. It is not possible in arithmetic operations, but in abstract algebra it is possible. Okay, how? Suppose there is a function operation multiplication modulo 12. So 3 into 4 will give me 0. Am I right? 3 into 4 is 12.
Yes.
12 more 12 will give us 0. In that case, if you look at 3 and 4, they are A and B and they are non-zero numbers. So we will call them zero divisors. Got this?
Yes, ma'am.
So, why we are discussing these concepts? Because in integral domain and fields, you will require unit and zero divisors. On that basis, you will be defining integral domain. So, a commutative ring R is an integral domain if it has no zero divisors, that is A is equal to B, implies either A is equal to 0 or B is equal to 0. So we don't want any zero divisor in our integral domain. Okay, integral domain is a commutative ring. Okay, it is not a simple ring. It should satisfy the commutative law too. So an integral domain, which is nothing but a commutative ring, which has no zero divisors. So either your A is 0 or B is 0. Got this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, filled. So a commutative ring R with an identity element 1. So we have identity element 1. So we can say it is a combination of commutative ring and ring with an identity. And it is a field. It is called as field if every non-zero A belongs to R is a unit. It means every element of that ring should have multiplicative inverse. Okay, every element. So a commutative ring with an identity element 1 is having a non-zero unit. Every element of it having non-zero unit. Okay, non-zero क्यों? 1 by 0 कर दोगे तो what will happen? It will become infinity.
Infinity.
Never, yeah, we never consider 0 in multiplication operation. But it is a ring, we are dealing with ring and it has two operations, addition and multiplication. So 0 will be there in your set, the set you are dealing with. So that is why the identity element is also called as not equal to 0. It is 1, it should be 1. And you have to discard the 0 totally, and for other numbers, other elements, you have to check whether they have multiplicative inverses or not. And if all those non-zero numbers or elements are having multiplicative inverses, then we'll call it a field. Okay. So can we say that in field can be an integral domain? Can we say that? Will that be possible? Can you see this explanation over here? This explanation. A field is necessarily an integral domain for if the condition is provided, obviously, because integral domain is having no zero divisors. It means you will be dealing with 0. So provided A is not equal to 0. And what is B? That you have to calculate by putting the value of A. So your B will become 0 in that case. So for integral domain, we can say that a field can be an integral domain, provided AB is equal to 0 and A is not equal to 0. Another view is a commutative ring with non-zero elements and under the multiplication operation. Will that be considered as field? A commutative ring with non-zero numbers, elements under the operation multiplication. Yes, please let me know whether you are understanding this or not. These properties are not important, just the basic concept is important. But if you say yes or no, then I'll come to know whether you have understood the basic concept or not. So let it be interactive instead of only me talking all the time.
मॅम
Yes.
तेच झिरो डिवायझर एकदा सांगता का, म्हणजे त्याचं एक्झाम्पल कसं असेल की लाईक म्हणजे त्यांचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन 0 आहे पण ते दोघं नॉन झिरो आहेत, असं कसं असू शकतं?
See, we are dealing with abstract algebra now. We are not dealing with arithmetic operations here. So operations in abstract algebra are different than the arithmetic operations. Okay. So here, what we always deal with is multiplication mod 12, multiplication mod 6, multiplication mod 4, something like that, right? So multiplication with modulo operation will give you this results. Okay. So now consider multiplication with modulo 12. Can you see whiteboard?
Yes, ma'am.
Suppose there is operation multiplication under mod 12. When I do 3 into 4, how you'll calculate the result of this? When I operate 3 into 4 for this operation multiplication under mod 12, how you will solve this?
0.
Right. So what we do? We first multiply 3 and 4, which is 12, under mod 12. So 12 mod 12 mod gives us remainder of the division. Okay. So 12 mod 12 will give us 0. So here I write, it is always written like this. It means it is not simple arithmetic operation. So in that case, our A was 3, our B was 4, and they were not equal to 0. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So did you get that A and B are called as zero divisors in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But in integral domain, we don't want zero divisors. Okay. We want either A to be 0 or B to be 0. Okay. So commutation means there are something that you want to arrange and order matters over there. So suppose I want to arrange 4 numbers and that will be password of my machine. In that case, I will be having, I will be applying permutations on those digits, those 4 digits. Because 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 3, 4, 2 are different in case of permutations. But in case of combination, they are same. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 4, 3, 2. They are same in case of combination. So permutation is the thing where you want to arrange some objects and there you are focusing on the order or sequence of the object you are arranging. So in combination, what we deal with is just the combination as the word says. So a dish of salad is good example of combination and a password is good example of permutation. Okay, so for salad, you're not worried where you're putting cucumber, where you're putting tomatoes. You just put them all together in the dish and that's it. Okay, so that is permutation and where order matters, and combination where order does not matter. Simple and straightforward. Okay, so in both cases, in permutation and combination, we have 2 different types. It is with repetition and without repetition. Okay, so is there any doubt what is permutation?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Now suppose we with repetition का permutation देखते हैं. Suppose we have 4 letters A, B, C, D, and you have to find out the number of 3-letter words where repetition is allowed. Okay, so how we will be dealing with this? So we want to find 3-letter words. Okay, so first we have to put 3 places over here. Okay, so for the first place, how many options I have, and repetition is allowed. Okay, so for first place here, how many options I have to choose?
4.
4 options. Now for the second place, as repetition is allowed, how many options I have? 4. Am I right? Yes. So here I can put A, B, C, D, में से कोई भी एक letter. Here also I can put any letter from A, B, C, D, and again in the third place I have 4 options. Okay, because repetition is allowed. This letter can be AAA, BBB, CCC, DDD, or ABC or ABB, something like that. Okay, so for every place we have these 4 options. Okay, now how we'll be calculating that how many number of words we can form? We have to multiply all of them. Okay, so multiplication is the way you can find how many letters, how many number of words you can find by arranging these letters here with repetition. Okay, so this is nothing but 60. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And from this, can we say this is the formula? And I'll tell you what is N and R. N is the number of things to choose from. So from where you have chosen A, B, C, D. And how many are there? 4. Okay. And we choose R of them. So how many you have chosen out of these? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is R. And always remember this N will be greater than equal to R. यहाँ पे तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा in this formula of the without repetition it will matter because there you have to use that factorial wala formula. ठीक है? So this is our example where we have to choose N from we have to choose from N things. We have to choose R of them where repetition is allowed and order matters. Am I right? If you look at the example, it is just kind of this. Okay? Is there any doubt in these type of examples where letters are given? Now for me, ABC and ACD are different. So that is why I say this is the example of permutation. But in case of combination where if they ask me to group these numbers, then there will be only one choice I have, that I'll put them in one group. Okay, so where order will not matter. So this is permutation with repetition. Is there any doubt?
No. No.
Now without repetition. Suppose there are 4 letters, the same example, and here we are not allowing repetition. Okay, so again we have these 3 places, and now here the numbers will change. For the first place, how many choices I have?
4.
4. For second place, how many choices I have? Here repetition is not allowed. Sorry, 3.
3.
Why 3? Because यहाँ पे already you have used 1 out of these 4. Okay, so how many options are left with you? 3. Now here you are in the second place you have used 3. How many options you are left with? 2. So 4 into 3 into 2. How much it is?
20.
How much? 24 or 20?
24.
24 before.
Correct. Now this is the formula where n factorial upon n minus r factorial is your permutation, and it can be written like this: p n r, p n in bracket n comma r, and n p r. So there are n number of ways you can write. So just imagine you are swapping these values, n and r ka value. So there is one trick that you have to remember what is, you have to choose which value is r and which value is of n. That n should be always greater than equal to r. दोनों values equal है, no problem. But when both are different, then it will create a problem. So again, for this type of examples, we have the same assumptions, or where n is number of things to choose from. So कहाँ से हमने choose किया था? From A, B, C, D, which are 4 in number. So n is our 4. Then we chose R of them. So how many we have chosen? 3. 1, 2, 3. That is our R. And there is no repetition and order matters. Are you getting this? So if you put this value over here in the formula, you'll get same answer. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me the answer of first example.
120.
120.
120. Correct. The second example.
60.
60.
How much? 60?
60.
Yes.
Yes, correct. Correct. Then third example.
8 factorial by 2 factorial, 2 factorial.
Correct.
Yes.
Then next example.
4 factorial into 2 factorial.